Hello, welcome to Wellness Wednesday, and thank you so much for joining me. I'm Sherry Jibb of The Healing Place, and today we're talking about sleep and recovery. And we're talking about this mainly in regards to the midlife and beyond experience. So, as we age, we might have noticed that we've got some changes in our sleep. Maybe we don't sleep as well. If you're in the heat of menopause, maybe it's the hot flashes that are affecting your sleep. Hormones are going a little crazy, right? And even perimenopause. And, stress is a big player there as well. And, when we're not sleeping, our stress level goes up. We know that. And when we're not sleeping, our craving for carbohydrates, for sugars, for caffeine also goes up. The body's got to do the best it can do with what it's got to work with. And I have learned so much about sleep and recovery over the last 2 months as I have been, in the heat of recovery. And if you don't know what that means, check out the episode called You Never Know What a Day Will Bring. And over the last 2 months and a bit, I have really been learning a lot about sleep and recovery in my own body. And, it's been such a game changer because I have slept like I have never slept, I don't think, in my life. And lots of sleep, which I have needed to heal and recover. And I'm doing really, really well in the recovery, just really well. And I'm so, so grateful for that. And, I'm really grateful that I'm listening to my body and that I am recovering. And I know part of that, a lot of that, is because of the sleep, the rest that I'm giving myself, as opposed to always pushing myself. And, that ratio of work to rest to sleep, sleep is the glue that holds everything together. And sometimes in this world, we think of sleep as a luxury. And that's not the case. Sleep is a foundation. So researchers out of Arizona State University surveyed 200,000 people over the age of 50. They found that 37.7%, so almost one quarter, actually more than one quarter, were chronically sleep deprived. That's a big number when you think about that. And I know that I have been chronically sleep deprived in my life. And I mean, that's the first 2 years of motherhood for sure. But even I was especially sleep deprived in my menopausal journey and had to do a lot of napping. And, you know, often we don't give ourselves permission to really think about or to connect with how much rest we really need. Our lists, especially as women, are huge. We're mothers, we're daughters, we're spouses. We're a lot to a lot of people. We're volunteers, and we get through a lot. But sometimes we forget that we need that rest because there's also so much changing in ourselves. And it's hard to get to know ourselves if we're not rested. So today, I just wanted to have just a little bit of a chat on some relaxing bedtime routine ideas. Like what does your bedtime routine look like? You know, say that hour before you go to bed. And what does that look like for you? And so when we're setting up a relaxing bedtime routine, we have to find that recipe that works for us. Okay. And, research tells us now no screens 1 hour before sleep. That blue light is interfering with our melatonin release, with our sleep. Okay. And I mean, we have a younger generation that are sleep deprived. And a lot of that has to do with phone use. So what does your phone use look like? Can you totally shut that down 1 hour before? Or put it on do not disturb. Maybe you're listening to a guided meditation. Maybe you're using the Calm Mind app. I mean, there's so many apps out there now to help you fall asleep. But do you have everything else on do not disturb? Breath work. I am a big fan of breath work before sleep. As a matter of fact, I love to do legs up the wall. That's my corner for legs up the wall with breath work for 15 to 20 minutes before bed. I love that as part of my sleep routine. I also like that for nervous system regulation. And in the last 2 months, I've been working a lot on regulating my nervous system and looking for that calm. So that's something that works for me. Okay, that might not work for you. Again, we're all finding that recipe of what works for us. So maybe for you, it's a hot bath. Maybe it's some reading before bed. And, reading for pleasure as opposed to, reading to always learn. Maybe we just need some downtime, just some nice, flowy, fun reading before bed. Gratefulness journal. That is one thing that I do every night. Well, as many nights, I'm not perfect like anybody else, but majority of my week, I do a gratefulness journal before I go to sleep. So I list 3 things or more that I am grateful for in the day. If we go to bed with a grateful heart, we wake up with a grateful heart. Now, my husband does 5 minutes of positive affirmations before he goes to sleep, and that really works for him. Okay, so we all have that recipe, and it's just about finding it. And I really highly suggest that you start to make notes about that. Tried a hot bath, reading, hot cup of tea, slept great. Whatever. Start to look at your recipe and tweak it until you find that good night's sleep, and then repeat that pattern. Just keep repeating it as long as you're sleeping well, and build that habit of your relaxing bedtime routine. Okay. Also, keeping a consistent sleep schedule, even on the weekends. I know that's hard, but I know if I'm up till 11 or 12 on the weekends, it takes me a couple days to recover from that. So, that consistent sleep schedule. Optimize your sleep environment. What does your bedroom look like? We want it to be cooler. We want it to be quiet. Whatever, maybe you're diffusing some oils in your room. Maybe you've got some quiet sleep music going. In our bedroom, we use a lot of vibration and frequency music for sleep, for healing, and that plays all night in our room. We sleep very well with that. And lastly, watch your caffeine intake, and that's kind of different for everyone. I mean, I can't have much caffeine later in the day. It will affect my sleep. My husband could drink a cup of coffee at 7 o'clock at night and sleep like a log. So really, again, it's your recipe, okay, for sleep and recovery. And then when it comes to your exercise, okay, how long, when you're doing your exercise, what does the recovery look like? What does your body need? In my recovery, I started to do bar, and I was doing a fair bit of bar in the beginning. And what I noticed was that I wasn't recovering. So I backed off. And what I noticed was that I could do bar, especially for hip work and leg work, as I was getting my right side stronger again. But I needed 2 to 3 days of recovery at that time before my body was ready to do it again. Interesting, right? Once I keyed into that, my recovery came along even better. So sometimes we just, we hammer it day after day after day after day, and then we're just absolutely exhausted. Okay, remember that the magic happens in the recovery. That's when the body heals. That's when we get stronger. That's when we build lean muscle mass. Okay, so keep that in mind when it comes to your exercise routine. So, sleep and recovery, we've chatted about that today. And coming up, I am so excited, is the Happy and Healthy in Midlife and Beyond Summit. Okay, I'm going to drop the link below in the show notes for you. This is a free summit. This is my 6th summit, actually. And the reason I keep doing these summits is because I get such positive feedback. And you know what? It really is about education and empowering yourself so that you can be your own advocate. You can advocate for yourself, and you know what's out there and available to you at this stage in your life. And I have lots of speakers. I have a sleep expert, Morgan Adams, and then I also have some people just lightly touching on sleep and the importance of that in regards to their talk and what they're sharing with us. It is a great lineup, and I really hope that you can join us. Again, it's free. You learn one thing. It's worth your time. All right. Take care of you. I will see you next week for Wellness Wednesday. And thank you so much for joining me.